Hello, everyone. We're just admitting a few more people in from the waiting room, and we'll get started in just one moment. So thank you for your patience. Okay, I think we've got most people in now, so I will go ahead and get us started. So welcome. My name is Sarah Dorner, and this is a presentation of the Boston Area LLM Consortium. Today, we're going to be speaking with you about how to make your US LLM application stand out. So we will move right along, but before we do that, I want to give each of us a chance to introduce ourselves, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about what we'll be discussing today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Laitwall, and I'm the Director of Graduate Admissions at Boston University School of Law.
Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Marr. I'm the Director of International and Graduate Admissions at Northeastern University School of Law.
Hello, everyone. My name is Manal Sahuba. I'm an admissions officer at University of Connecticut's Graduate Programs and Admissions School of Law.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bridget Sandusky, and I am the Assistant Dean of Graduate Law Programs at Suffolk University Law School.
Hello again. I am Sarah Dorner, and I am the Assistant Dean for Graduate Admissions and International Outreach at the University of New Hampshire Franklin Pierce School of Law.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aude-Mathilde Gallo. I'm the International Admissions Counselor of Vermont Law and Graduate School, and I'm also an alum of one of our LLMs.
Okay, so welcome again. I will just kind of set the stage to let you know what we'll be talking about and how we'll format today. So what we're going to do is each of us will cover one of the topics that you see listed here. So searching for LLM programs, applying to LLM programs, letters of recommendation, and your resume CV preparation. Some tips for writing your personal statement. We'll talk about submitting your official transcripts in the evaluation process. And then we'll conclude with more information about English language proficiency requirements. After that, we'll be happy to take a few questions. So we invite you to leave any questions that you have in the chat throughout the presentation. We'll be keeping an eye on that, and we'll do our best to either answer them as we go if it's relevant to that section, or try to answer some of them at the end of the presentation. From there, each of the representatives from the school will move into our own breakout room. So we'll share at the very end of the presentation, we'll share a little bit more about the different programs that our schools offer so that you can decide which schools might be a good fit for you, and then you can spend some time talking with the different representatives. We have one of our LLM, a current LLM student with us here today, who will stay in the main room and help all of you move between rooms if you need any assistance. Arvin, do you want to take just a quick moment to say hello so folks know that you're there?
Hi, everyone. It's a snowy morning here, so a warm welcome to all of you.
Thank you. So Arvind will be there. He'll be with us throughout the presentation, and then at the end if you need any assistance with the breakout rooms. Okay, I think that is enough of just kind of the logistics. So we will dive in now to information about searching for LLM programs. Okay, so as you are probably at the space now of getting ready to actually submit your applications, I'm going to share with you just some guidance on how you can go about finding the right LLM program for you. As I'm sure you've discovered by now, there are hundreds of different LLM programs out there, and some of them are more general, some of them are specialized. Their schools, like the US, is huge, so it can be really hard to figure out how to find a program that's a good fit for you. So what you see here on the screen are just some different resources of how you might go about finding out what's out there. So first and foremost is the Law School Admissions Council, or LSAC. They host a directory of LLM programs. So you can go on their website and you can look at the different schools and the different types of programs they offer. They also have a great resource where you can sign up for their free candidate referral service. And this opts you into emails from the different schools so that schools can write to you to share a little bit more about the types of programs that they offer. You can certainly opt out of that at any time or opt out of emails from specific schools, but that can be a really helpful way for schools to just reach out to you directly so you can learn more. The American Bar Association has a listing of specializations. So you can go and you can search by school. You could type in any one of our names and see what programs we have. Or if you know there's a specific area of the law that you're interested in, say business law, for example, you can go and you can look for business law LLM programs. So that can be a really helpful way to help you narrow down your search of schools. LLM Guide is another great resource. I think a lot of our students find that to be a helpful place. They maintain different lists as well by specializations or by geographic region. So that can be a helpful starting place to go and kind of see a school's high-level profile. And then from there, you can get to the school's individual website to learn more about them. More and more, I think students are turning to LinkedIn, where they'll search for alumni from the school to get a good sense of what the alumni are doing and where they live. And I think this can be a helpful way just to see, okay, so this person went to this school and now they're able to do this type of work and they're living here. And again, help you see if it's a right fit for you. Most alumni are also really happy to connect with students in the application process and share with you about their experience. So sometimes it can be hard to just, you might not hear back all the time from someone if you're reaching out on LinkedIn, but it can be a good opportunity to connect and learn more. And I would certainly say too that all of us here today are really happy to help connect you to our alumni network. So if you don't feel comfortable just reaching out on your own, certainly talk to one of the school reps today and see if there's any alumni from your country that they might be willing to connect you with so that you can learn more about that person's experience. Education USA is an organization through the US Department of State, and they have advising centers around the world. And their job is to really support students who want to come and study in the US. So they can be a really great resource, not just for kind of learning about what different schools are out there, but also guidance on the visa process or information about funding your studies. You can go on their website and you can search for an advising center near you. So you can kind of search by country and see what's available in your region. Of course, attending virtual events like this is a great opportunity to learn more about schools. I think there's several schools out there that will partner like we are today to do events, and then many schools have their own virtual information sessions that you can register for to learn more about them. The US News and World Report, I think that has long been kind of a place that people have turned to. I share that, with the caveat that while rankings and reputation is certainly and understandably one piece of the puzzle, that really doesn't tell the full story about a school and what they have to offer. I won't go into too much about the rankings and how they work. So I think it can be a helpful place to look, but I would caution against kind of putting all of your to use that as your only guide. I think there's much more than just the rankings alone. And we'll share more about that later too, I think, in terms of finding fit. And then finally, going to the different schools' websites. All of our schools have a website. You can fill out a form to request more information. You can find contact information to connect with different school representatives. So we encourage you to do that, to not be shy, to please email us, whatever tools we have for you to get in touch. We are really here to help. So please don't hesitate to reach out and we can share more. And I think I speak for all of the schools here in saying, we're not just here to sell you on our schools and our programs. We want to make sure that it's the right fit for you. We certainly don't want students that come and are unhappy if that it wasn't the right fit or it's not what they thought. So we do want to be honest with you about what we offer and see if that's what's right for you. All right, I will pause there and then turn it over to information about applying to LLM programs.
Hi, everyone. Next slide, please. So now you know how to find an LLM program, and you may have decided on your top couple of ones. You might want to apply to, more than one. Most people do. So how do you do that? Well, most of us utilize LSAC. And so you would visit and sign up. So the referral service that Sarah was just speaking about, and really make sure you're planning in advance. So many students start to be thinking about an LLM program probably at least a year, year and a half in advance. Sometimes if you're living locally, you can obviously do it much, much sooner than that. But just, finding the right fit for you, which is really critically important. You're going to be spending, a lot of time and effort and energy and obviously financial resources. So it really is important that you're finding a program that's going to be a best fit for you. So now's your opportunity to get organized. If you go to LSAC, it will also indicate whether or not, because you're all coming from different countries from around the world, and the legal education system is going to be different. So you want to make sure that your law degree makes you eligible to pursue an LLM degree in the United States. And so that will be a helpful resource for you to do that. It's not, law schools can still make their own determinations. So it's not the be all end all, but it's a really good start of knowing, oh, wait, I don't have that degree. And in doing a little bit more research into seeing what do you have to do next. Maybe it's completing an additional year, maybe it's doing an internship, whatever that might be. And lastly, not all law schools are on LSAC. Many of us may require you to complete LSAC. Others may be a little bit more flexible and say, we understand there might be a problem with you completing the online application in LSAC. So if you do have particular problems or issues, I would encourage you to outreach to the particular universities to which you're interested in applying to see if there is another option. And then there are others that have and say, pick and choose whichever one works best for you. They have an online application that they host on their website, and then they also utilize LSAC. Next slide, please. So and I'm going to talk primarily just about LSAC, the LSAC process, and utilizing that and the fees associated with that. This would be different from if you're applying directly to a university using their website information. So they very well probably will still have an application fee. They may do their own in-house credential evaluation, or they might require you to secure a separate outside credential evaluation, and they'll list a variety of different resources or ones that they accept. So, but we're going to say all of us, I think, are all on LSAC. So you will see there's a number of fees associated with applying and submitting your application. But many of these, the top 3 fees are one-time fees. So although it might seem quite expensive, it does try to make the process easier for you because you are only securing your transcript, for example, one time. You're only securing your letters of recommendation one time. And so LSAC will take and accumulate all of that information, and then you will indicate, I want these letters of recommendation to be sent to this school. I want these to be sent to that school, or this personal statement. So although it may seem like a lot, it is supposed to make the process easier for you, and that you're often only having to do things one time. And then each time you're sending a report to and applying to a different law school, you'll, pay the law school reporting fee. And then lastly, all programs, or the vast majority of programs do charge a law school application fee. But a secret for you here today is that many of us are very happy to waive those application fees. So oftentimes it's as easy as just asking, can I get an application fee waiver? And many of us are regularly and very happy to provide that in our own little way of helping you to try to control costs. Next slide, please. And then you've selected the LLM programs, you've sent all of your documents, you've made it through the process. Now we know the very hard part is waiting for decisions to come in. And rest assured, all of us are working very quickly, as fast as we can, because we do know how uncertain it feels like waiting for an admissions decision to come to you. Many of you have other outside factors, and perhaps long applications to secure visas to come to the United States. So we are trying very hard. Some of us are able to turn around decisions, say within a month or two. Most of us function on a rolling admissions basis, but you can ask about that. If the information you're receiving doesn't indicate when you might expect to hear an admissions decision, please ask, and we're able to provide you at least a ballpark figure of when you might expect to be hearing from us. And lastly, we're aware that navigating the LSAC platform sometimes can be a little tricky. So if you do have any questions or concerns, the individuals at LSAC LLM department are so incredibly helpful. So please, send them an email, llminfo@lsac.org, or give them a phone call. And I'm sure they will be happy to try to troubleshoot and help you in completing your application. So thank you.
I will now talk about the letters of recommendation and give you some tricks for your resume or your CV. Yes, thank you. So for your letters of recommendation, I will start by saying that you have two different types of letters of recommendation, either academic or employer recommendation. Depending on where you are in your life, you might rather use one rather than the other. For instance, if you finished school 10 years ago, an academic recommenders might be harder to find, and in that case, you can definitely ask an employer to write one for you. If you don't have any professional experience, that is totally fine. You can definitely ask academic recommenders, so any of the professor that you had in the past. So this is for the who should I ask to write. This is very important to ask the right person, someone that knows who you are, that knows you as a person. Sometimes for an academic recommender, for instance, you might think, oh, let me ask a dean because this person has huge authority in my school, so maybe it's the best that I can get, but this person might not know you personally, and then the letter will be very typical, and the same letter would be written for multiple applicants, and then we definitely see it. So I would recommend asking to a professor, asking to someone that knows you, that had you in class, with whom you had interactions. So that's very important. What should your letter for recommendation say? It should attest to how you act. For instance, if it's an academic recommender, then how you are in class. How do you study? How well do you do in class, of course, but we also want to know who you are as a person and how others see you as a person and how you act, whether in school or in your job. So yes, we really want to know who you are. How many letters of recommendation? So that depends on the school where you apply to. Most of the time it's between 2 and 4. So you should have at least 2 letters of recommendation. So as I said, either academic or employer, you can have one of each, depending on where you are and who might talk about you the best. For your resume, the key point here is to keep it professional. You will, of course, talk about your background, so your academic background, where you studied, what you studied, your specialties, anything that you did out of the ordinary during your academic courses. You can also talk about your professional experiences. No matter what experience you had in the past, whether it's related to law or not, it's still important to talk about it, as it portrays a certain aspect of your personality. So it's also very important for us to see what you did. You can, of course, talk about your promotions or any accomplishment that you had in the past. Anything that makes your application stand out, that makes you different from another person. Your resume should really be you and what you did, what you like to do also. So that's why you can add your skills, your languages, your hobbies, if you do any sport, any activity, what you like to do. And then you can add the publications or the awards if you have any, and if you don't, that is completely fine.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk to you about your personal statement. So here's some tips to write a great personal statement. The first thing is that you need to write it yourself. I know it's very, very tempting nowadays to use AI to generate a personal statement, but I'll tell you, we know the difference. We can tell when it's written by AI or written by a real person. it's your personal statement. It's about you. You should be able to talk about yourself, right? You know yourself best. So please do write it yourself. Some suggestions for getting started is to just kind of brainstorm some ideas, just write them down, just kind of brief ideas of different topics or different aspects of yourself that you want to highlight. And then set it aside, and maybe the next day come back and start to pick one or two of those things and just start to just free write, just kind of get everything out. Again, put it aside, come back the next day and pick one of those and just refine it and make it better and expand it and work on that for a couple of days. And then I would suggest sending it to someone or having someone who knows you really well to read it over and see, does it sound like you? Does it make sense? Are they following along? And just kind of get their feedback. And then, hopefully by then you can kind of put that all together and, have it ready to go for the school. Now, each school may have a different prompt for the personal statement. So that's also something you should keep in mind. They might be general of, why you interested in this particular school or the particular program, or they might be something very specific. So make sure you read the prompt and answer that prompt accordingly. But usually, we're looking to see, what brought you to the point that you're ready for an LLM program, and what do you plan to do with that? That's very helpful for us to get to know you and make sure that, again, this is the right fit for you, right? Not every school has an interview process. So this might be your only opportunity to talk directly to the admissions committee. So what do you want them to know about you, right? So it's helpful, I think, if you can incorporate a story or two or something that illustrates what you want us to know about you. So rather than just listing your skills or listing your accomplishments or things like that, tell that in a story. So if you're a hardworking person, tell us a story about how that illustrates your work ethic, right? It could be a challenge that you've overcome that then explains or illustrates that you are, your determination, your motivation. Those are important factors for us to know that you would succeed in the school, that you're a hardworking person who's going to put in the effort that's needed, right? And it's your opportunity to just kind of expand upon your educational or your work experience, right? We don't want just this duplication of content that's already in the application somewhere else, right? So you've already listed your education, you've already listed your work experience in a resume, but you can pull out one or two examples and expand upon that rather than just reiterate everything that you've already told us in somewhere else in your personal statement. So it does take a little time to craft it, and also if you are going to personalize it in that you're going to talk about a specific program at a specific school and you mention that specific school, just make sure you send the right personal statement to the right school, right? Sometimes we receive applications where the personal statement is written and directed for a different school, and that just shows that you aren't being very careful, and so that's not something you want to do, right? People make mistakes, but do try and be careful about that. And as I said, this is an important part of the application process because as we said earlier multiple times, we want to make sure it's the right school for you. So we are looking at you to make sure that you are right for our school, and you also are looking to make sure that you're the right fit for us. We're the right fit for you, right? So it's a two-way conversation that is gone through the writing, through personal statement, or perhaps if you're able to talk directly with us by email or Zoom call. As mentioned earlier, we're always happy to meet with students, and also later on at the end here with our breakout sessions. So good luck on that personal statement.
Hello, so I'm going to talk about official transcripts and the evaluation process, basically what you need to submit and how you need to submit it. So Transcript requirements are going to vary not just by the LLM program that you're applying to, but also whether you're applying through LSAC or directly through the law school's website. In general, though, you will need to submit transcripts from all university level coursework. That includes undergraduate and graduate. And the transcript should include all courses and grades or marks. If you earned a degree from a particular university or institution, you would want the transcript to include evidence of degree completion and date of degree conferral. You could also submit a diploma or degree completion certificate along with the transcript if your transcript doesn't specifically say that you are awarded a degree. Then how you submit your transcript will again vary not just by the LLM program you're applying to, but whether you're applying through LSAC or directly to the law school. So LSAC has a specific process for submitting academic records. And if you're applying through LSAC, you will need to request that your official transcripts are sent from each of your universities or institutions directly to LSAC. And these documents need to be mailed directly to LSAC, and LSAC is pretty strict in that they do not accept documentation that from the student. If you're applying directly to an LLM program, you'll want to check with the specific transcript requirements for that particular program. Some law schools may accept unofficial transcripts for the purpose of evaluating your application for admission. If you're admitted, then you would need to submit official transcripts prior to matriculation. So if you're the law school that you're applying to will accept an unofficial transcript, you can upload a PDF or email PDF to the admissions office. What is the difference between an unofficial and official transcript? So in general, an official transcript is one that is received directly from the university that you attended, and it's in a signed and sealed envelope. It usually has the seal of the university as well as a signature of the registrar or someone similar to a registrar. If your transcripts are sent from you and they were in your possession, then most programs would not consider those official transcripts. There are some exceptions. I know sometimes if a student has an official transcript or a transcript in a signed and sealed envelope from their university, and it's difficult to have the university send the official transcripts, my particular Northeastern anyway would consider accepting the transcript in the signed and sealed envelope. So how do you have your transcripts evaluated? So not all law schools or LLM programs will require that your transcripts be evaluated by a credential evaluation service. Some law schools, LLM programs can do that in-house. But if your program does require that you need a credential evaluation, there are a few different options. First, you could use a credential evaluation service such as World Education Services, WES, or Educational Credential Evaluators. You would, obviously each service has their own set of requirements, but in general, you would send your documentation to the credential evaluation service, and then they would authenticate your documents and evaluate your transcript for degree equivalency and US GPA. If the LLM program, they might recommend certain credential evaluators that you could use. If they do not, the National Association of Credential Evaluation Services is a great resource, and they have a list of member agencies on. So that's if you're applying directly. If you're applying through LSAC, LSAC, as my colleague Bridget mentioned earlier, LSAC does offer a document. It's the International Transcript Authentication and Evaluation Service, and they authenticate and evaluate international transcripts. And then that credential evaluation is included in the CAS report that's sent to the law schools that you apply to. LSAC will not accept credential evaluations from outside services such as WES. So I am now going to turn it over to my next colleague to discuss English language proficiency.
Great, thank you. So I will be talking about the English language proficiency requirements. Next slide. Generally speaking, English language proficiency tests are required for most international applicants. And some commonly accepted tests include a TOEFL, IELTS, or PTE. In terms of what the minimum score requirements are for these tests, it does differ by school, so it's important for you to look on the school's website, reach out to the admissions office to find out what the minimum score requirements are. For example, for TOEFL, some schools have a minimum requirement of at least an 80 or an 85. Others have a minimum requirement of a 90. For IELTS, it could be 6.5, or a 7. So just making sure to reach out, do your research to know what the score requirements are for each of these schools. And for requesting a waiver of proof of English proficiency, that may be possible. Again, every school has their own requirements on what they need for you to waive the English proficiency test. For example, in certain cases, if your primary language from your home country is English, if the official language taught in school was English, so primary language defined as a language used to communicate since childhood, that may qualify you for an English language proficiency test waiver. Other cases, if you've earned a law degree from an institution in which the primary language of instruction was English, then that may qualify you for an English proficiency test waiver. Or if you've already received a degree from an accredited institution of higher education in the United States, then that may qualify you for an English language proficiency waiver. So it's important to reach out to the schools. If you think that you qualify for a waiver of English language proficiency, certainly reach out, certainly upload documentation into your application. If you have a certificate confirming that the language of instruction for your first law degree was in English, then that's certainly important for the admissions team to know. Otherwise, certainly reach out, do your research, check the school's websites for what tests are required and what scores are required for those tests. And we'd be happy to answer more questions about that in our session today.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to our presentation. We're just going to introduce ourselves again briefly and let you know about the different LLM programs that we offer, so that when you choose the breakout rooms, you know a little bit about our schools and help guide you which breakout rooms you attend. But hopefully you attend each one of us breakout room and say hello to us. So again, my name is Michelle Laitwell, and I'm at Boston University School of Law. And we are right in Boston, right next to the Charles River that you can see over here. And we offer 5 LLM programs: an LLM in American Law, which is a general LLM program, an LLM in Banking and Financial Law, an LLM in Taxation, and an LLM in Intellectual Property, and finally a 2-year LLM program, which can be in any of those areas I just mentioned, but it's 2 years, so you have an additional year for extra English language, legal English language preparation before you enter into taking the full LLM classes. Maybe Bridget, you want to introduce?
Sure. Thanks, Michelle. Hi, I'm Bridget Sandusky at Suffolk Law School, and we are located in the heart of Boston, so right in downtown. And we offer a variety of different types of LLM programs: a general LLM program, a Master of Laws, the first of a kind to incorporate concentrations is our oldest LLM program, and LLM in Global Law and Technology with concentrations in intellectual property and information technology law, biotech and health, U.S. law and legal methods, and international business. We do also offer our newest LLM program, which we're really excited about, is a STEM approved LLM program in legal innovation and technology. And so that one is just launching. So that would entitle individuals to have, in addition to 1 year of OPT, an additional 2 years of OPT for STEM designation. And our last graduate program is a Master's of Science in Law, Life Sciences. And so a little bit, different from an LLM, but very close to it. Also a STEM designated program and truly interdisciplinary, focusing on law, business, and science. And here we go. And I'll pass it on to Megan.
Hello again, I'm Megan Mart, the Director of International and Graduate Admissions at Northeastern Law. And we offer an on-campus LLM, which has a general curriculum as well as concentrations in international business law, health policy and law, human rights and economic development, and then intellectual property and innovation. And students in the on-campus LLM program also have the opportunity to spend 1 semester working full-time in a legal practice setting, which we call co-op. It's very similar to an externship. And then we also offer an online LLM, which is online, completely online, and offers focus areas in bar preparation for the California bar exam and international business law. And I will turn it over to Manal.
Hi again, my name is Manal. I'm the admissions officer at University of Connecticut School of Law. We're located in Hartford, Connecticut, which is right in the center of Connecticut, right in between New York and Boston. And we have 6 LLM programs. So first we have our U.S. Legal Studies LLM, which is our general LLM and foundational information in U.S. law. We have Energy and Environmental Law LLM program, Human Rights and Social Justice LLM program. We have an Insurance Law LLM program, a Governance, Risk Management, and Compliance LLM program, and we also have an Intellectual Property and Information Governance LLM program. And also within our U.S. Legal Studies LLM, we offer 7 concentrations that you can choose from, which range from concentrations in tax studies, human rights concentration, and intellectual property concentration, energy and environmental law concentration, compliance concentration. So that's housed within our general U.S. Legal Studies LLM program.
Hi, everyone. Sarah Dorner with the University of New Hampshire Franklin Pierce School of Law. We are New Hampshire's only law school, located right in the state capital of Concord, in a really beautiful part of the state with access to the great outdoors and then just 1 hour from Boston. We have 3 specialized LLMs. Our primary LLM is our LLM in intellectual property. This program can be completed either fully in person or fully online. We then have an in-person LLM in commerce and technology law, and then separately a fully online LLM in international criminal law and justice. Our students are really just a close-knit community, as is the alumni network. I actually just came back from a IP conference in the Latam region, and just lots of our alumni there reconnecting with one another. It's always really nice to see that. We have some supports in place while you're here to kind of make sure you're successful in the U.S. legal classroom, as well as some supports for students who are interested in sitting for a U.S. bar exam. And then our career services office is completely open to our LLM students and a really fabulous resource. I neglected to mention in the opening that unfortunately I need to leave a little bit early today. So my colleague Sharon is going to be the point person in our breakout room. So I just wanted to give her a quick moment to say hello and introduce herself to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everyone. So my name is Sharon. I'm working for Sarah at UNH Franklin Pierce School of Law. So my title is Graduate Admissions Counselor and International Engagement Specialist. I'm looking forward to communicate with you in our breakout room later. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. All right, we'll turn it over to Vermont.
Hi, everybody. So I'm sorry for the wrong information. send it in the chat. So I'm Aude Mathilde. Vermont Law and Graduate School is the only law school in Vermont. We offer five different LLMs. We have an LLM in environmental law, in energy law, in animal law. And we do offer an LLM in American Legal Studies, which I'm an alum from, which allows you to sit for the bar. It is designed mostly for the New York bar, but you are eligible, of course, for other bars. Our programs can be either online or on campus, except the LLM in American Legal Studies. To meet the requirements for the bar, it's only on campus, but I'll be willing to talk more about it if anybody's interested.
Thanks. I'm seeing that there was one question in the chat that Michelle, it looks like you responded to. Do you want to just kind of publicly answer that question, and then we can maybe while you do that, if anybody has any other general questions, we can take those, and then we'll move right into the breakout rooms.
Sure. The question was what is the difference between the EAPS fee and the DAS fee that LSAC charges when applying through them? And my response was that the EAPS was the fee that LSAC charges for filling out the application form and transmitting that form to the law schools that you are applying to. And the DAS is a document assembly service, so that pays for the collection of the documents that you send to them, your transcripts, your letters of recommendation, and that they collect and put into a report that they send to the schools. And what the other part of the question was, were all of those fees necessary? And generally, when you apply through LSAC, usually all of those fees are required to be able to complete your application.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm seeing another question here about English language proficiency waivers. And so the student is saying that they're from a country where English is the primary language, and are they eligible for a waiver? So my recommendation here would be to speak to each school that you're applying to, just to verify with them about their eligibility for such a waiver, if there's a particular process, because I think the question is, do I need to kind of have something from the university affirming that or not? And the answer to that could vary between schools. So I would encourage you to reach out to the schools that you're interested in applying to ask if you're eligible for a waiver. Many schools do waive the English language test requirement for students coming from countries where English is a primary language, or if they had a degree that was taught in English. So definitely a good question to ask, and then to see if there's a particular process you need to follow to receive that waiver. Are there any other questions there in the chat that I might have missed that we should answer? I think we got them. Okay. So what we will do now is each of the presenters from the schools will head into their different breakout rooms. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Arvind, who's here with us, if you have any questions about moving between the rooms, or even just a question for Arvind about what it's like to be an LLM student in the US, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer that as well. But he'll stay in this main room while everyone else moves to the different breakout rooms. And we do encourage you to stop in at more than one room to learn more, ask your questions. We are truly here to help. And I, as I mentioned, do have to hop off, but you're in excellent hands with Sharon. And thank you to everyone for joining today, and to all of the panelists as well. Thank you.